Okay guys, we are back. This time we're going to do another balancing equations. This one is the doubles count doubles last. Count doubles last. This is page 84 in your workbook, or it may not be 84 in your workbook according to which year you're looking at these. So let's just look at this problem here, number one. Let's get it written down again and do your count. Okay, so I want you to do a quick look to see if you agree with my count. So I have 2 and 5, 1 and 1. Now you have to be careful on this side, guys, and hopefully you caught it. You've got 1 V, which is vanadium. Here's 2 oxygens, okay, 2, and 3 chlorines and 2 hydrogens. Okay, so you have to be careful with having the 2 oxygens in 2 different places when you go here. So they call it doubles count last. I'm not really sure necessarily if there's a specific way that I would say one is easier than the other, but it is realizing that you've got the oxygen in 2 different places, which is what's going to cause a problem on there. Okay, so let's just look at the oxygen. I've got 5 on this side, and then I have the 2 different ones here on there. So that, again, we're going to have to end up with 5. So let's just go ahead and start with the vanadium. I've got 2 on this side. So if I start with a 2 on this side, check out everything that it changes. 2 vanadiums. I have these 2 oxygens, count carefully. I have these 2 oxygens plus this one, and now I'm up to 3 oxygens. 3 times 2, I have 6 chlorines. And again, I have not changed my hydrogen on this side. So the only thing that I have fixed so far is the vanadium. Okay, now let's go ahead and fix hydrogen. So I've got 2 hydrogen on this side, and I only have 1 here. So let's go ahead and get that fixed up. So that's going to give me 2. It also changes my chlorine on this side, which is 2. So let's see where we're at. We've got 2, 5, 2, and 2, and it never hurts to stop and count again. I've got 2. I have 3 oxygens. I have 6 chlorines and 2 hydrogens. So it looks like I've got vanadium and hydrogen fixed. Chlorine is still messed up here. Okay, so by putting that 2 on my hydrogen, it did not fix my chlorine at all. So I should have started with my chlorine versus my hydrogen. So let's just go back here to this 2. And I'm going to say I've got 6 chlorine. So let's put a 6 out here instead of a 2. Does everybody see why I did that? Because I had 6 chlorine here. So I started with hydrogen thinking that might work, but it didn't because it was the chlorine I needed to fix. So now I've got 6 hydrogens and 6 chlorines. And again, as I said, it's okay to back up and swap around and so forth. That messes up my hydrogen here. So I'm going to need some hydrogen out here. So I would need a 3, right? 3 times 2 gives me 6. And now let's count our oxygens up. So I've got 2 here and 3 there, which gives me 5. And the oxygens fix themselves. Okay, so again, that's why we talk about doubles count last. I kind of waited and fixed everybody else and then seen what happened to my oxygens because they were in 2 places. Okay, that's what they're meaning by doubles, in 2 different places. Okay, let's try another one. So go on to number 2. Okay, so this is also an interesting problem. And one is because we talked about polyatomics, and hopefully you see that there is a polyatomic here and here the PO4s. And we see a polyatomic here as an OH, but we don't see a match on this side. Guys, this problem is one that happens a lot, and what we do is we rewrite H2O, okay? Because what hydrogen, or what water is actually, is a hydrogen atom bonded to an OH, okay? So instead of writing it H2O, write it as HOH, and then what you see here is that I do have my polyatomic matching on both sides. Okay, so there's a trick to remember. Okay, if you have an OH on the, usually it's on the reactant side, and you have a water on the product side, and it could go in the reverse, but generally this works. This is the way it goes most on yours. Change this to an HOH instead of an H2O. Okay, let's go ahead and count the polyatomics as a unit, as we did in our last set. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make one more comment before you start counting. So when you write down your elements, you have an Hg, mercury, you have an OH. When you come over here, you see an H. Now this H is not the same as the OH in here, because this is a polyatomic. So we want to count this H different and separate, and then the PO4. Okay, so be sure you write them that way down, count carefully. Okay, let's see if you agree with me. I have 1 mercury, 2 OHs, 3 of the hydrogens, and 1 phosphate, PO4. Over here, 3 mercuries. I had 2 of the phosphates. I had 1 of just the H's and 1 of the OHs. And again, guys, I strongly suggest you do as I did and kind of highlight those or something. That helps to pop those polyatomics out. Okay, let's get started. So let's just start with mercury. Okay, so I have 3 mercuries here. I'm going to show you, because like I told you, there's some people just start at the top and work down, so we'll just do it that way. So 3 mercuries here, that means I'm going to need 3 here. Okay, and when that does that, that's going to change my hydroxides. So I now have 6 of those here. Okay, let's go ahead and change. I have 3 hydrogens on this side, so I'm going to need 3 here, right? So that 3 hydrogens gets changed. That also changes my OHs to 3 of the, whoops, sorry, put that back, to 3 of those. I changed that, I hit that by accident. So let's see where we're at. We got 3. Our OHs are still messed up, our hydrogens are okay, and our phosphates are good. So let's see what else we need on there. So if I have 2 phosphates here, that means I'm going to need 2 more here, right? So that gives me 6 hydrogens and 2 phosphates. Okay, we still got a little bit messed up. Again, this comes back over to our HOH. These 2 are messed up. Again, I have 6. I had 3 there, so I need to double that. So again, just like what we did on the last one, I'm going to take the 3 off and put the 6 there. Okay. I strongly, now I write in pen just because it's darker and you can see it. I highly recommend you guys use pencils. I know some of you guys use an ink pen for everything. Can't stop you, probably. But use a pencil, please. That would be more beneficial to you guys. And probably when I test, I will tell you have to do a pencil. Okay, let's go back, finish that up. So that's going to give me 6 of the OHs and 6 of the hydrogens. So I'm fixed. So I am balanced now. Okay, let's go on to number 3. Okay, so here is my rewriting of 3. And hopefully you noticed as you were looking at that you do have the OH on this side. So I went ahead and put the HOH on this side. So again, the first thing that I'm going to do, if I was you, is highlight the SO4s and highlight the OHs. Okay, that's just going to help you see those. And go ahead and write down your elements. So I have hydrogen, I have my sulfate, I have lead, and I have OH. Okay, and do your count. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started here. Let's start, why don't we just start with the hydrogens again. So I have 2 on this side and only 1 there. So I'm going to go ahead and put in a 2. That again messed up my OHs. So that's going to give me 2 there. So I may need to come back in and do something to get me more here. But let's just see what happens. I have 2 sulfates. So I'm going to have to come over here and put a 2 there. Now that gives me 4. It also gives me 2 sulfates. Let's see where we're at now. So hydrogens are still messed up. So maybe we want to go ahead instead of, and if I had fixed the sulfates first, I might not have had to do this step, but I need 4 hydrogens here and I only have 2. So I'm going to have to double that again and put a 4 there. So that's going to give me 4 hydrogens and 4 OHs. Yeah, that makes those nicer. You see what we did there? So again, it'll fix itself. 4s, 2s, 1s, and 4. Now again, guys, if I had started this a different way, if I had started right here with the sulfates and said, okay, I've got 1 here and I've got 2 here, put that 2 there, that immediately would have fixed the 4 and 4. And you might not have had to do so many steps, but that's okay. Like I said, I'm not trying to give you the easiest way. Okay? You've got to figure out your way, and your way may not be the easiest, or it may be the easiest, and that's okay. Okay, we're going to do one more, so go ahead and get started on number 4. Okay, so go on to number 4, and again, write down your elements and do your count, and then we'll check to see if we agree. Okay, let's do a quick double check to see if we agree on numbers. Again, I went ahead, since I saw the OH here, and put an OH on the other side. Broke my water apart just so I could see that. And again, here is your SO4 and your SO4. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at balancing. I'm going to start off, let's try starting off with, there is 2 OHs, and I know I'm going to need that. So let's go ahead and get a 2 over here. That also is going to give me 2 hydrogens. Oh wow, I think that one worked right off the bat. 2, 1, 1, 2. Okay, and again, fill those in with 1s. I may not have been doing that on all of mine, so be sure you have. So go back in. Let's just do a quick check. This was the number 1. Again, I did not put that 1 in there, so be sure we do that. Go around my little room here. So same way here, we probably need a 1 there on number 2. And then number 3, again, fill in those 1s if you didn't. Okay, so that is a set of examples. I've worked through, again, the first 4. If you need to see any of the others, I can do those in class, but you need to do the 5 problems that are at the bottom.